Hi everybody and welcome to Beyond Politics. Today we'll be talking about war, conflict and sovereignty.
And the very important thing is the fact that South Africa has sent their troops all over Africa, especially the southern African region in the past, and made our troops available in many of the conflicts. And unfortunately, many of our troops, even some of the pilots within our Air Force, have been killed in many of these conflicts when we are not at war with anyone. And these agreements, we need to look at that because recently we lost 13 of our South African citizens. And I really get upset when I see things like this. You know, in my mind, I say, keep our people here and keep them out of other conflicts. I don't know how you feel, Lauren, but what we want to tackle today is the fact that our president, who is the commander-in-chief, has literally said that he cannot just bring our soldiers home.
Yes, because it's an agreement made by multiple countries. Our soldiers are currently in the DRC on a peacekeeping mission, not a combat mission. But unfortunately, they are losing their lives. 13 have lost their lives. And I just think from the perspective of what if it was one of my sons, how would I feel? And I would be enraged because, as they said, South Africa is not at war. We are just aiding another country. Interestingly, we are aiding a country that is considered one of the richest in the world with regards to minerals required for electronics. And interestingly, for a long time, America owned a lot of the mines in the DRC, and they recently sold those mines over to Chinese companies. And it's just fascinating that the countries that are richest in resources are always the most volatile. But anyway, the DRC has been in conflict since forever, since the Rwandan genocide. After the Rwandan genocide, people fled. People from opposing teams, so to speak, fled and went to the DRC, and there's been factions and power struggles ever since. It's a very volatile situation, but here we are with our soldiers fighting other people's wars, other people's conflicts, and losing their lives because of it.
I just want to say that our hearts go out to the families of the people that have died. I don't know how easy it's going to be to get their bodies back. And famously, there was a video going around on social media of our soldiers waving a white flag, trying to say that they aren't part of the combat, and yet they were caught up, so to speak, in the combat zone and in the crossfire. And you would ask yourself, if you're a peacekeeping force somewhere where people are shooting mortars, etc., I think it goes beyond that. It's not peacekeeping anymore. I mean, what purpose do they actually serve?
Well, I don't know. It's difficult. The rebel armies that they're trying to fight, they aren't actually very large. The M23 apparently, allegedly, only has a membership of about 5,000 and gets support from, I don't know how true it is, allegedly, from high-ranking Rwandan officials. And that makes for very interesting African politics with regards to SADC. And I just think it's sad. I personally think in terms of sovereignty, we are a sovereign nation and we should look after ourselves first, and we need to look after ourselves. And one should be loyal first to oneself, then to one's family, then to one's community, then to one's country. And only once you're okay, then can you extend a helping hand further abroad. But the politics in the DRC is far too complicated, and I think it's a shame that our South African citizens and fighters are dying for someone else's battles.
And I'm disturbed that our president, who's supposed to be the commander-in-chief of the military, says that he cannot bring our soldiers back. I mean, what on earth? How is it possible that our president cannot withdraw our soldiers from that area? So he has to get permission or whatever. I mean, how sovereign are we if this is the case?
And then that poses the question, what is it going to look like when we have a global government system fully in effect and fully accepted by the majority of the population? What is warfare and conflict going to look like then?
Why are we still voting then for a government in a so-called democracy if our president, elected by parliament, can't even make a decision to withdraw our troops from somewhere? Tell us in the comments what you think about this.
To me, it shows the weakness of the position of the title president. It sounds like being a president is pointless. All you do is follow orders, especially in terms of a more global perspective. It's very sad, but it's not just the fact that he hasn't got the power, the president has got the power to bring our troops back. It's also that they are severely under-resourced where they are. and they don't have access to logistics, which is, according to one of the experts here, who's drawing up a report, Johan, I can't remember his surname, he says that's actually one of the biggest tragedies that we have here, is that they're there, they've been there for a long time, they're great, competent fighters, they're great soldiers, but they just haven't got the logistical support necessary to keep on going. And that is a huge, I mean, we know that the government is underfunding our military and has been for a very long time. And that doesn't help situations like this. We can't go send our troops into a vulnerable area and then underfund the military. I mean, what are we doing? It is ridiculous.
No, we should back them up, give them everything they need, and they need to know that they can be withdrawn if they're not part of the conflict immediately when conflict arises. And if that's not possible, why put them in harm's way?
So basically, if you can't be certain of victory, don't send them in the first place, because you're sending them lambs to the slaughter. It's completely
But
unjust.
on whose head do you think this is? Who is responsible? Should be held responsible for something like this.
Let us know in the comments, how do you feel? I mean, I know you might think that it's a issue far distant from your own personal life, but imagine it was your son or your father or your brother or your husband in such a situation. And let us know what you think. What do you think the president should do? What do you think about the situation going on in the DRC right now in light of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, globalization, and international politics in general? It's very fascinating.
So there's more to the story than meets the eye.
Love to hear your thoughts. On that note, the government overall, as we can see, this is one example, again, that they do not care for human life at all, or the quality of human life, or saving human life. And that's one of the biggest problems when it comes to corporations and governments. It becomes about economics, it becomes about profits, it becomes about sustaining your own power. And humans just get forgotten in the whole process. And that is a system that we are stuck in. That's why we need system change.